Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of This Is Our Life. Guess what? We got no mail today. None whatsoever.
Well, hey.
At least we didn't get any bills. Always look at the positive side. So, Agua's Fresca. I wasn't really using a recipe. I was just kind of throwing stuff together.
Experiment.
Yeah, experimenting, and there's still plenty in there. I mean, there's, part of it's still frozen. That big bag of, what was it, blueberries that were in the freezer that we got from the kitchen was frozen, and it's still partially frozen. Now, the recipes I did look at online said to keep it in the refrigerator overnight, and that probably would have helped. But we wanted something to drink. It doesn't have a real strong fruity flavor. Again, that's probably or possibly because we didn't leave it in the refrigerator overnight. Plus, these berries are whole, not crushed or anything. We do have a juicer we haven't used yet. We don't have any ink to print, so it didn't. I don't think it came with an instruction manual, so we'll have to wait until we can get ink to maybe see if we can find the manual online and then print it, or at least print part of it. And anyway, now there was this thing I used to like to get back in San Antonio. The little place I went to is closed now. It's a fruiteria or something. Just some like cut up pieces of fruit. You get, there are different little recipes. I always like mine with honey. Now this would be perfect with honey. It's a little tart. I used too much lemon juice. And lime juice would have been better than lemon juice, but nonetheless I used too much. But again, I wasn't really using a recipe. Even when I do use recipes, I don't follow them to the T.
See?
Yeah. That's probably why some of my recipes, and sometimes my recipes.
Like that one thing you cooked in the crock pot that came out so hot, we couldn't hardly eat it.
Yeah. And it's bad if I can't eat something. It's bad if something is too hot for me. Although there may have been a time I could have eaten it. I just don't eat that much hot stuff up here because they don't have it. They don't know what a jalapeno is. That's pretty bad when you don't know what a jalapeno pepper is. But anyway, so what we put just a little bit of sugar in Carolyn's. And Carolyn's cup of juice. Now, a glass. They're decent sized cups, so
Probably a 16 ounce, I would say here.
So I didn't put any. I looked for honey. We don't have any honey. Like, gosh, the honey's good for you. It has nutrients in it. It's not just refined sugar. It has nutrients in it. And I don't like just eating plain honey, but I like honey as a sweetener.
Well, I like the flavor of just honey just by itself. But
yeah, some people do. Yeah, maybe if you could find like a light honey, I don't know. One of the honey that I liked back in San Antonio was mesquite honey. The bees hung out in the mesquite trees. They don't have no mesquite up here. When we were in San Antonio, did we do it in San Antonio or do we do it in Stephenville? Bought that bag of
San Antonio.
We bought a couple of bags of mesquite.
And like beans and I don't even remember if we bought rice or not, did we? I think we bought some chili peppers, dried chili.
Yeah. But, you know, and the tortilla press, did we buy that? Or did...
We bought a different one, yeah.
Yeah. See, we had another tortilla press that broke. It's the same one, basically, and so when we were down there, we bought this one. But, man, the tortillas come out thick. Now, there is this place, Taco Cabana. I'm not a big fan of Taco Cabana, but, you know, they're cheap. They're all over the place. And they have this machine where they make their tortillas. And you don't want to get your fingers under there because this big steel thing goes and flattens the masa.
Or you'll have very flat fingers.
Yeah. And this thing that we have wouldn't do that to your fingers. It would flatten them if you put them in there, but not like that machine at Taco Cabana. But there is a Mexican restaurant in Keene. Well, there's actually probably, what, a couple of them. But it's kind of nouveau. I just... it's not my kind of thing, you know. I'm used to...
They need an authentic Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, you know, my kind of restaurant was the mom and pop, the hole in the walls, the greasy spoons, you know. There is this one place, on Blanco Cafe. Oh. You could see them pulling some of the animals out from under several feet of snow.
You know the sheep are unhappy.
Yeah. Where is that?
Scotland.
Oh. Anyway, they're dragging sheep out of the snow.
Out of piles of snow.
Yeah, and they're still alive. They're like frozen almost, but
I'm sure they're very unhappy sheep.
Yeah. Anyway, so there was this place in it. Oh my gosh, you got this big old plate of food for like $5 or $6. But I went in there one day. Yeah, I'm eating my meal. I was in there for a late lunch, and this rat runs across the dining room floor. Never went back. They didn't charge me for my food, thankfully, but it didn't make much of a difference because when I went out to wait for the bus, it all came up.
Was the rat running away from the kitchen or towards the kitchen?
From the back door to the front of the store.
He was trying to escape from the kitchen then, I guess.
It's a real popular restaurant, too. Anyway.
But.
Yeah, but after that, I just never again. And there were some other Blanco cafes. There was another one on the other end of Blanco. Blanco is white. It's, I mean, if you translate it.
Now, there was one Chinese restaurant in Springfield. It was in a rather old building. I think it was built in the 1940s or 50s. They had supposedly put cats in the drop ceiling between, the drop ceiling panels to catch the rats that were running around up there, and every once in a while a cat would come crashing through the table.
Oh, gosh. That's a good way to deal with it, though.
Meow!
But the other Blanco cafes, they just weren't the same.
The cat just wanted some of your dinner.
Yeah. And there was one in City Center, and that just, I don't know if that was even owned by the same people, but it was not good. I mean, it was edible, don't get me wrong. But then there was this place on Vance Jackson. It's still there, it's just in a different location now. They moved like a block away. A bigger place. I don't even remember the name of the place. And it was like Blanco Cafe. You got a big plate of food for $5 or $6. And then they moved their location. And the price was about the same, but the quantity of food was a little less, and the quality had changed. When we're talking about greasy, fatty, unhealthy food here, That's the kind of Mexican food I like.
Yeah.
But
it'll kill you.
Yeah. You know, but anyway, I mean, yeah, I like a good, I like Mexican food from a good restaurant also, but I don't like nouveau. There's a difference between, like a middle class, upper middle class kind of Mexican food meal versus the Greasy Spoon versus nouveau. Alright, and now, when I was in Mexico, the food we ate in Mexico was totally different than the food we ate in Texas. It was actually healthier. Believe it or not, it was healthier than Tex-Mex. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about the drink, and the flavor would probably come out better if I would have left it in there overnight, and if we would have had honey to put in there, that probably would have helped tremendously. When I drink hot tea, I like Earl Grey. And we have a tea press, and haven't used it because we can't find loose Earl Grey tea up here. The store I used to go to in San Antonio in the Ingram Park Mall, where I bought my loose Earl Grey tea, they closed. I mean, it was called Bean and Leaf. Anyway, they sold tea and coffee. It wasn't a coffee shop. We bought coffee beans and tea leaves. But anyway, so I haven't used that, but like I was saying, this would probably be better with honey, and if we would have let it sit overnight. So this video is getting very long. It's now 9:05. Now it's, anyway.